What's going on, y'all? It's your man Mo, one half of the With All Due Respect podcast, and I have my co-host here, Miss Lady Simone. How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You was just tired a little while ago. Now
I'm good.
now there's energy in your voice. Anyway, we was actually just talking, getting ready for. I didn't realize Thanksgiving was next week. I've been doing a lot. Didn't realize it was a week from today, actually.
Yep.
And we were so busy getting ready for Christmas. We was actually just talking off of air about our daughter. She's running around with this Amazon magazine saying, I want this, I want this, I want this. And it's kind of driving us up the wall. But it actually took us back to our childhood when we had the Toys R Us magazines that we used to circle a little, this right here, I want this. And honestly, we probably got 10% of whatever we circled, at least in my household. So as us getting ready for the holidays. But nonetheless, I found myself asking a few people as well as myself this question right here that are on the same journey or similar. So I'm gonna ask it to you. I didn't even speak to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find the balance with following your dream, entrepreneurship, which I can believe those two can be different, but entrepreneurship as well as following your dream, and family time? Where's the balance at? I actually wrote up in my head like a equation, almost like a division sign. Where do you find that at?
Oh man. I think when you're in the process of following your dream, when you're in the process of just kind of shooting beyond the norm, it's hard to find the perfect balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you find a balance that is okay with your life. You know what I'm saying? Because we can have this conversation with 100 people. And some people would say, okay, 30% is this right here. This percentage is this right here. I think it's dependent on the foundation that's already set. You know what I'm saying? And I think
family.
With your family, because I think that plays a big role. Because if you have a solid foundation set with your family, you will find yourself on a way of trying to divvy up that time that is really not that hard, because your family will be with you when you're following your dreams, or when you're on the road to entrepreneurship. You figure out ways to implement them within that. So then it's one of those things to where, and they get excited about it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that they see you have a passion for, and hopefully they have a passion for it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
because
you said something just now. They see a passion for it, and hopefully, but what if they don't?
Man.
If they don't? And that point right there, that even goes into a part two of the question of that I initially asked.
Mm-hmm.
What if they don't see it? And what if the time that you're actually putting to the side isn't enough?
Well, I'm a big advocate of communication. I'm a big advocate of communication. And I'll say it one more time. I'm a big advocate of communication. And I really feel like if there is a situation to where you're out there and you're doing 110% of your best trying to follow your dreams and divvy up this time, and your significant other do not, they feel some type of way, I feel like y'all have to stay in constant communication. And it's going to take more than one time with you sitting down talking to that person. It's going to take that. But even outside of that, get a neutral person to kind of help both of y'all kind of understand different things too. Because sometimes when you hear it from somebody else, it makes you look at the situation different than hearing it directly from your partner or your significant other. You know what I'm saying? Because there could be many a times where you say something and then it's just like, oh, okay. But then if I hear it from somebody else, it's like, whoa, I don't even understand why it would hit different, but you hear the same thing, but it's almost just like you're more accepted to it.
I think it hits different because there's no emotional connection there typically from the neutral party.
Well,
and I was speaking as far as not enough even the kids are involved, but we're going to stick right here with the adults.
Mm-hmm.
One, that's always been an issue for a lot of relationships.
Oh, yeah.
To where the wife typically looks at the husband as just the husband. He is not a personal trainer. He's not a rapper. So he doesn't know anything outside of being my husband, as well as vice versa.
I'm about to say vice versa.
No, definitely. It goes both ways. Definitely both ways. So I think you have to be okay with that. Some people may get, the insecurities may kick in at that point. So why are you listening to her, or why are you listening to him? I think it doesn't matter where the information comes from, as long as it's coming from a place of with no intentions, just to help,
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fine, but that's when the emotions, if we could take emotions out of certain decisions, certain choices that we make, I think things will roll over a little bit smoother.
And I think it comes back, it rolls all the way back around to communication. I'm going to tell you why it's so important, because a lot of times in a relationship, we make decisions based off of what we think the other person may be thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or what we think the other person may feel, how they may feel about a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, when I say constant communication, you have to get to a point in your relationship to where even the littlest thing that may mean it's like it can be something so tiny to the one person, but if it has a meaning to you, I feel like you have to express that. So I think what happens in relationships are people come together, they sit there and they body these emotions, you know what I'm saying, and we take a false perception of what we think the other person may say or how they may react based off of maybe how they did 10 years ago or 5 years before y'all got together or a year before, you know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that every day is a change. There's something that may be changing within your spouse, within your significant other, and we can't take that for granted. So maybe he got frustrated a year ago about a situation. You're like, you know what, I'm not even gonna answer because I know like 2 years ago or a year ago, he wasn't about it. But you never know. Something could change between that time gap. So that's why I say it's important to continue to communicate, to always just say, you know what? And that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll come to you and say, listen, I felt some type of way about this situation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't be in my own head about it and form a false perception about it and make up a whole story. And you're looking at me like, yo, I ain't even been thinking nothing like that. And we have to admit that happens. That happens. Because a lot of times people could be following their dreams or doing something that's like, nah, I know my girl ain't gonna like it. She ain't gonna be with it. How you know? It's all how you present something to someone for one. And not only that, you can't just throw something at people. You have to line it up. You know what I'm saying? You have to let them know, like, this is the details. This is how I feel. Tell them the emotions behind what you're doing, why you're doing it, and why this would make you feel some type of way. They may not be in agreement, but guess what? They may say, they may have a little doubt or whatever. You can't expect everybody to like 110% of what you do. They may be like, oh, but at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship with someone and y'all are connected and y'all love each other, you're going to sit there and say, you know what? I love you enough to help you make this dream a reality.
Okay. But what if, because I know of situations like this right here, what if the significant other is not on board? What if the significant other does not champion you from the sideline while it is that you're doing what it is that you're doing? And like, again, this goes from the male to female or the female to the male. So what do you do at that point? Do you consider, and they're even considering you as being selfish, because back to my initial point, that's time we could be spent, that's time we could be using under the quality time. Okay. As well as the money that you're using, that can go towards our vacation or getting our bills all the way up to current and everything. So they're not understanding the Les Brown's motivational speaking that you're hearing in the mornings. They're thinking like, okay, you're just kind of going off the wind.
What it sounds like to me is they're not really in alignment with each other. So therefore, when you have a situation like that, what you have to realize is that, no matter what you do, y'all gonna always be kind of one person left, one person right. So I think it's very important to where you guys have to sit down, analyze, and say, listen, we both have to make sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, to where you see things are getting so intense like that within your relationship, I feel that's when you really, really need that that third person in. You need to really sit down and talk to some people, and you need to really, try to understand each other. So, because evidently what you're doing separate is not working as far as the communication. You know what I'm saying? And it's not saying that one person is bad, one person is this, you know what I'm saying? But it takes a while for somebody to understand. You got to understand, we have been programmed not to follow our dreams, or, if you quit a job, and not have something else to turn to, or if you do something out of the norm, it's like, woohoo, you off the deep end. You know what I'm saying? They're sitting there and telling us how to live and what to do. And not only that, you have some people that look on TV and think the only way that we're going to make it is through some reality TV, some, sports or whatever. They're not thinking outside of what they're actually capable of.
We've been programmed. We've been programmed
Yeah.
and to do something. I had somebody tell me I was crazy the other day. I said, "Why do you think I'm crazy?" He said, "Well, you have these ideas," and I said, "I think what that makes me is not normal. I think that makes you normal. And honestly, I think being normal is crazy. Why would you want to be like everybody else in here outside of if you've seen it on TV, if you've seen it drive by you, if you drove by it, meaning a house or a property or whatever it is, that means there's someone that looks just like you that has done it. So why can't you do it?" So again, it goes back to me saying to that young lady, I think you're crazy.
And to touch upon that right there, I spoke with someone yesterday and I told them, at the end of the day, they've taught us that you can have everything you want, anything you want. That's been the saying, right? But what is it to say it and not tell someone how to obtain it? Or not even show
Selfish.
them how to obtain it. You know what I'm saying?
Selfish.
So all it is keeping you hopeful, but you have no action. That's even just like I told the person. I said, you know what? They told me I could do whatever it is I want to do, right? So I'm walking around. I'm like, I'm going to be a #1 best-selling author, right? So in my mind, this is what I'm going to do. But guess what? I can say it 110 times over, but if I don't put a pen to paper, which listen how simple this sounds, right? Listen how simple it sounds. If I don't put pen to paper, it's no way that my name can be in no mentions of a best-selling author. You know what I'm
Never.
saying? And it has to be multiple books. Well, some people have it on their first or whatever. But the point I'm
None
trying to
unless you
make
got
is
it.
you have to get out there and do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you can have this house, but I'm not going to show you how to obtain this house. But just like you said something that was very, very important. If one person got it, it's no way in the hell why you can't have it. It's no way. You know what I'm saying? We look at the Tyler Perry Studios and it is amazing. It is beautiful. It is wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Those are seeds that are planted. And in my mind, I'm looking like, whoa, he did a thing. You know what I'm saying? For some people, it's like, oh, yes, he did. For me, I'm looking at it like, whoa, I can do this. It's no way or reason why I can't have a big property and put all this right here. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I looked at the picture a little differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He showed us that this is obtainable. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, people have to take self outside of situations and start looking at deeper into the picture. You know what I'm saying? Stop looking at what they want you to look at. And then at the end of the day, you're going to have to get uncomfortable.
You're going to have to get uncomfortable and you're going to have to manage your 24 hours a little bit better. You cannot have the worker bees mentality of 9 to 5. I'm going to go to my job. I'm at work writing every day. Every day.
Yeah.
I start my writing off with the date. After that, I have speak it, believe it, receive it, which is a tagline from Dante Wilder. And then after that, God is great and my blessings have arrived. It is paid. And at that point, I start writing. And people always come to me, why are you always writing? I said, where we work at, it started off with a piece of paper and an ink pen, just like I'm doing. Tyler Perry Studios, the same way. Started off with an idea on a piece of paper and a pencil. So what we're doing at work is repetitive. You don't have to really give this show 100% attention. And if you're stressed out, if you have any issues, you got 8 hours to figure this thing out while you're here. That's utilizing that 24 hours.
But you know what? I'm going to cut you off right here. That's because you said something that was so powerful. You said you write things down, right? And then once you write it down, it's like in your mind, you're like, yes, because you're believing that this can happen. I want to insert there, too. It's very powerful to speak it. I have an issue with that, right? I can write all day long. I have a journal, I script, I do whatever. I write all day long. But I think people have to get into the act of speaking it. Because you know how they say your tongue is powerful. Life and
Very
death
much
is in
so.
the tongue. But imagine, it brings me back to what we were watching when the man said he walked around the jailhouse and he just kept saying, I'm going to be released soon, I'm going to be released soon, he's putting it, he can write it all day long. So I think we have to add that element of not only just write it, don't just think it, don't just write it, but get so insane that you're walking around to where it's like, yo, I'm going to be a bestseller author.
You have to be crazy to think that. I had a conversation with JJ Day. He said, Mo, you got to be crazy to think you can follow your dream. And I'm on the same boat that you're on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I actually walk around work telling people I'm gonna change the world. One girl said yesterday, "How?" I said, "You know what? You're right. I need to add context to that.
You
Further,
got to.
I need to add further context.
We
to
talk
that.
about that all the time.
Right.
Being Pacific.
I was like, you're absolutely right. I need to add further context to that. Context.
Oh,
to that right there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So another inside joke that we shared on Saturday. But yeah, I do it all the time. Mm-hmm. I do it all the time. They actually did a poll on one of the areas that I work in, and they said Marion's gonna be the first millionaire off the line. I said, keep on speaking.
Imagine, but I'm gonna tell you something that's a little more eerie. Out of 14
people, keep on speaking.
Imagine something that's a little more eerie. You've had this happen. There's been people who've called you and say, you know what, you're going to be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about that, right? There's something that they're seeing before you can even see it. Because for them to even call you outside of their normal day, just to call you and say, you're going to be a millionaire, there's something that they see. So I just like even that right there, you speak it in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
When you speak it, you're attracted.
It's more powerful.
And that's the law of attraction at that point.
Yes. It's more, and that's where I said, you know what I'm saying? I'm always thinking, you know what I'm saying? I can think things, and I'm thinking, especially like if I'm trying to get back to sleep, meditating, trying to, you know. But then when you think it's powerful too. You know what I'm saying? But imagine, because that's even just like growing up when somebody be like, yo, that's the bad kid. This dude bad. That's how they work, for real. You know what I mean? But imagine just if we look at those little incidents and you look at things that happen within your life, you're sitting there like, yo, I done spoke a lot of stuff. But in order for it to come through, you got to really speak it. You got to not only speak it, but you got to believe that thing. Mm-hmm. You got to believe it, and you got to every day, if it's something, yo, I'm going to leave this job. By the end of this year, I'm leaving this job. Yo, I'm telling you, by this time, and you don't even know you're doing it, because you're talking to people and you're in conversation like, yep, you know, January 19th, 2019, I'm leaving this job. Yep, I know. When January come, y'all, I'm out of here. Despite whatever, you have to put those words in the atmosphere.
And you have to stay strong to that, even if it doesn't happen in January of 2019, nor January 2020. You, like the gentleman that we actually had an opportunity to listen to speak, he said he walked up and down that jail yard. I'm gonna be free. I forgot how many years it took, but nonetheless, he was looking at a lot of time. So the time that he did serve was a small portion of what he was supposed to have gotten, at least when we speak about what he got convicted for. So yeah, understand that as well as manifestation, power of attraction, and whatnot. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that you stop your chants, you stop your rants, and you stop your writing. I write just as much as I talk, whether people can believe that or not. I write just as much. I have a lot of people that can vouch for it. So nonetheless, that's all I got to say right there. That was real heavy on my heart, and I just wanted to kind of get that out there because I've been having conversations with people, and I felt that this right here was necessary to put that out there. So, Lady Simone, you have any closing statements?
I just want to close on this because I had an incident that happened with this yesterday. Not really like an incident, but we were talking, and like I told someone, I said, just be careful what you answer to, because I don't answer to everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. Somebody can't say, "Oh, you're poor," or "Oh, you know, put a label or a tag on me." You know what I'm saying? Because the minute that you accept that, is the minute that that's exactly how your life is going to be. That's exactly what comes to you. You know what I'm saying? So be careful of what you allow people to call you and what you answer to. You know what I'm saying? So you set your intentions on what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to be, and who it is that you want to be. And you walk around like you're already there. You know what I'm saying? And then you see things starting to change and shift in your life. So that's all I have to say. I mean, this is an amazing episode. I hope somebody gets something away from it, because a lot of the times, man, we have ideas. The idea is there. You just got to act upon it.
And the thing is, the blueprint is there. It may not be to the same detailed plan that you wrote out, but nonetheless, an overview. You want to run a business, there's someone out there that has done what you want to do.
Look at all the businesses that is around.
And then honestly, there's a formula too. There's a boot camp. Let's go with that. There's a boot camp that you got to go through. People sign up, but then when they see that boot camp's starting to get a little bit rough, they pull back.
Yeah.
No, you got to keep going. Nipsey Hussle said, the only thing that made me different than any other rapper is I didn't stop.
And
when
it makes
gets
you
rough.
you got to get uncomfortable.
Man, I
You know what I'm
seen
saying?
something
You can't look at pride. You can't look at none of these
bank
things. You know what I'm
statements.
saying?
You
Nah,
got-
you
you
gotta,
gotta
and
keep
that's
going.
when you
You gotta
really
go.
gotta speak. You know, oh, I got $1 in my account. Man, look at this $1,000 sitting here. You gotta really start. You know what I'm saying? And of course, a lot of people be like, "Well, I know it ain't that," but guess what? 9 times out of 10, you don't realize how powerful you is until when you think back over your life. And we always say, when I think back over my life and look what God has brought me through. When you really think back. And when you're at your lowest of lowest and you're really expecting things to happen, look at things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you're already doing it. So why when you're aware of it that you're there, you give up or you pull back?
Just gotta keep running.
Gotta keep
Like
going.
most people, I get people who say, "Well, you know, you did this and did that, whatever." Honestly, I really don't pay attention to it. How does this feel? I really don't pay attention to it because I'm in it. It's like when they say when you're running, you don't look behind you. Or Kobe Bryant once said when he runs, he looks down. He looks at his feet. Because if I see my destination and it's far, in my mind, I'm going to start getting tired. My legs going to start getting weak. My breathing's going to start getting short. So therefore, just watch each foot. Don't pay attention. Don't go behind you. Don't look behind
But
you.
I
Just
think
keep going
sometimes
forward.
you have to look at what you've done because it shows you how powerful you are.
But you know what? It might scare you as well. It's all, and at that point, it's perspective. If I really look back as far as the details of what happened with me with my bout with cancer, which is part of the reason why they gave me the amnesia medicine. Like, we don't need you to think about what took place.
They don't want you to the bad.
Right. That's perspective as well, though. And so it can really like shell shock you to an extent. Like, I did what? Ooh. It's almost like when they say in your tightrope, don't look down. You know what I'm saying? So whatever the case might be. But nonetheless, y'all, this is the With All Due Respect podcast. I'm your man, Mo, and that is across from me. What's your name again, young lady?
Oh, Lady Simone. Check me out with Hope
yeah,
Jones
okay.
1 and Hope Jones 2. It's coming out, and we got a surprise, a pleasant surprise, man, in a work with these writings. So, guys, like I say, I spoke it on the podcast. Y'all write it down, taking notes. You can, I am #1 bestseller, Miss Courtney Morrison. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and add that in the beginning of my name because that's what I am. Yes, I am.
We appreciate y'all. Again, this is the With All Due Respect podcast. You have yourself a good week. Until next time, yeah.